Hello, Lucid Fiends. This is Lucid for Life, podcast episode 1. I am Michael Kuhn.
And I am David Worrell. What up, Mike? I heard you were sick as a dog.
Yes, I had the horrible flu that everybody's getting.
Oh, turning into influenza. My son had that for a while, and now you're going to be coughing for months. I tell you what, man, when I get the flu, though, I get some crazy dreams. Mostly nightmares. But I get some crazy dreams, dude.
Yeah, actually, the first few days, I didn't have any recall at all. And then, I don't know, I got plenty of sleep, and then I just had, this huge wave of lucidity. It was actually pretty cool. That was the only good thing, yeah. And I got a week off of work. Can't complain about that.
Only you were bedridden, stuck in the house. Not to mention the cold-ass weather.
Just trying to see the bright side. So, you been ice fishing lately? How's that going?
Oh, dude, I got good news and bad news, and the good news isn't any better. I spent probably a total of 16 to 18 hours ice fishing in the past 3 weeks. I have not caught one damn fish. Not even one, dude. I've had a few bites here and there, but not one fish. My grandpa, this is the good news. My grandfather, I took him out a few times, and he caught one fish, but it wouldn't even make a minnow proud. I mean, it was just a little rinky-dink fish, man. Nothing. I enjoy being out there, but, it tears you down, man. It tears you down when you don't catch anything.
Yeah. Well, but it's part of fishing.
Yeah.
It's just nice to get out there and get away from everybody, though.
I tell you what, next time I go, though, just in case I'm not catching fish, I'm bringing a 12-pack. Just to make things interesting.
Yeah.
That way when I fall through the ice, I'm still warm, you know? So talk to me, Mike. Talk to me. What do we got? What do we got on the agenda today? We got to tell these people what we're talking about. They think we're talking about ice fishing now. Lucid for Life ice fishing.
Well, this is the podcast about lucid dreaming.
Hell yeah. And
basically, how this started was we met on dreamviews.com.
Oh, and magical.
Beautiful moment. But we just kind of, I looked at it as I just wanted somebody to talk to about lucid dreaming.
Oh yeah,
more than just online.
Nobody around me.
Yeah, I don't know why it's so hard to find people that are into it.
Yeah, you and I, unless you found somebody else, I talk to everybody I possibly can. Even the guys at work, carpenters, the least likely possible people to even buy into this. Not that you need to, but they, a few of them have had lucid dreams since I've talked to them about it. But even after they had the lucid dreams, they still don't perk the interest like we do. Which makes no sense to me, because it's such an overwhelming feeling, So
yeah, it makes you wonder if they really experienced a lucid dream.
Right.
And not just something vivid.
Right. And they think that it's a lucid dream. I hear you on that.
Yeah.
But that's why we started this podcast, eh?
Yeah. Yeah. We chat, once a month, once every 2 weeks, and we just said, hey, why don't we just record this and make a podcast of it? So that's what we're doing.
Hell yeah.
Just chatting about some shit.
Right. Chip, chap, cheerio, and all that good shit, mate. So what do we got on the agenda today, Mike?
So, I've had this more of an interest in dream characters, or DCs, like we like to call it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what they are really. Are they just a projection of yourself? Are they just some kind of randomness, and you're really controlling it subconsciously?
Do they have some kind of
you don't
meaning?
really understand it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or is it just junk?
Right. Is it random banter, or does it actually have something behind my mom standing in front of me right now, you know?
Right. And that gets into the whole, like, are these people real? Are they something outside of myself? Are they just things that I'm projecting? But it's so weird because sometimes they're like the moment you become lucid, like this really lively character will just shut down to like vegetable state, and you try to ask them questions, and they're just like, I don't know.
Right.
Or they get real nervous. It's like you broke something. It's bizarre. And then other times you have these dream characters that are like extremely intelligent, and they're like, they feel like this whole other person inside your dream.
Right, something that would be hard for you to conjure up, even to write a novel about. He's so superior to you. You know, it's somebody almost you would look up to. But if it's a projection of yourself, it's you the whole time. It's you, the inner you that you could find. You know, although you could be the vegetable too.
Right.
Depending on if it's a Monday morning, you're the vegetable. But I noticed too that, not just me personally, but I've read a lot on dream views. In the beginning, when you first start becoming lucid, it seems like when you're trying to get the dream characters to understand, you know, you beg them to understand that they're in a lucid dream. You're in my lucid dream right now. You're a figment of my imagination. Yeah, I can see, touch, and feel you, and well, taste you if I want to, but they just don't seem to want to buy into the fact that they're in one of your dreams. They almost seem offended at times or dumbfounded. And
yeah,
I completely stopped. I mean, just because it happened to me a couple of times, and from what I've read, I just don't even bother. I almost started just completely ignoring the fact that when a dream character is in front of me, yeah, I'm excited, and yeah, I want to share it, but what the hell's the point? You know, there's no point in me trying to convince that person that they're lucid. What's it going to benefit them? But yet, that can bring up a lot of questions too. You know, a lot of people are interested in this dream sharing and this and that. You know, could it benefit one of your dream characters to inform them that they're dreaming, or is it still just a part of you, like you were saying?
And I've actually experimented with the mutual dreaming.
Yeah, you're pretty big into that.
I don't know. That's a tricky thing. I think maybe that's possible, but I'm not convinced yet.
Yeah.
I was doing a shared dreaming thing with somebody online, and they're a very private person, and I knew very little about this person, and I found her in my lucid dream, and tried to make her get lucid, just telling her it's a dream and whatever, and it seemed like for a moment she was kind of like, oh yeah, and then she just kind of fell back to dumb. But what I found was interesting was I described what she looked like to her later online, and I was pretty damn close.
Yeah.
And so I think there's a possibility of sharing information, but I don't know if that whole shared dreaming can happen. I'm just not convinced yet.
Right. Yeah, it's not something that I honestly can even start to buy into. I mean, God, wouldn't it be nice, you know, to lay down next to your old lady? I mean, me and my fiance, every morning we talk about our dreams and stuff, and we've tried the dream sharing thing, but not even being slightly convinced that it would work. It's just nice knowing that you two are working towards the same goal while you're going to bed. And we've tried it here and there, but both of us, you know, neither one of us really got anywhere with it. But how nice would that be? Hey, I'll meet you on the Palm Beach, you know? Just think about how the warm sand's going to feel on your feet, and the warm sun in your hair, and I'll meet you on the hammock, and we'll enjoy a couple of cocktails and fly around the world together. You know, like how just sharing with your loved ones, your friends, your family, whoever you wish, to break the laws of physics and go and do anything that you can conjure, that you can imagine with somebody else. You know, and that would be great, because then in waking reality, you can share the same excitement of what happened the night before or that night. You know, it would just be grand.
That'd be like virtual reality on the internet.
Oh, man.
Basically.
I need to watch The Matrix again.
Yeah.
Love that movie.
Anyway, but another thing about, the DCs and, like, what are they, is the whole spiritual side of that, too.
Right.
And I've heard, like, people, like, stuff I've read, like, people talk about, like, their spirit guide or dream guide or whatever, and they talk about them like they're almost like a whole other entity outside of themselves.
Right. What do you think about that, though?
I don't know. Personally, I had a really powerful dream about my grandparents shortly after they died.
Right.
And I became lucid in a dream that they were in, and I didn't really get to say goodbye to them in waking life. And so I had this whole moment with them where I got to tell them things that I had been wanting to tell them, and got to say goodbye and all that stuff.
Really? That is awesome, Mike. I didn't know that about you.
Yeah, at that moment, I mean, it didn't matter that it wasn't real, or possibly wasn't them at all. It was real to me at that moment, and I got what I needed out of it.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
whether that was really them or not, man, I don't really know. I'd like to think it was. But.
Well, either way, what you just said there just goes to show that lucid dreaming has interfered in your life in a positive way, and that's great. That's what we're working to achieve here. Because right now, in the realm of lucidity, it's just a small sapling, dude, and it's just bound to grow. I mean, more and more people are getting into it, right? They gotta be.
Oh, yeah.
Me and you can't be the only one sharing the passion for lucid dreaming. There's gotta be others like us. So.
And it seems like it's mostly the younger generation that's getting into it.
Yeah, my grandpa says, you know what I want to do when I go to bed? What, Grandpa? Sleep. I said, yeah, but you're still sleeping. You're just having a good time while you're doing it. Yeah, right. I just want to sleep. I get so much more rest if I don't wake up from a dream. I said, you're waking up anyway. You just don't realize you're waking up because you don't tell yourself you want to be alert. I don't want to do all that. I just want to sleep. Like, come on, old man. You're missing out.
It's like my wife, she told me, she's like, I don't want to do work when I sleep. I just want to sleep.
Oh, man.
But my thing is, like, what if you have a dream about work? Aren't you working in your sleep?
Right, good point.
I think it's the whole wake back to bed thing that gets most people, though. Like,
yeah. But, you don't have to do that. You can still keep interest without doing your wake back to bed. But as we both know, wake back to bed is crucial for lucid dreaming. But you can still be into it, but not as hardcore as we are. At least perk the notion or interest and work towards achieving lucidity. But if you don't want to get up in the middle of the night, so be it. To each is their own, Just keep on keeping on.
Yeah. And really, I didn't do wake back to bed much when I first started.
Neither did
I. I would wake up naturally anyway, and then just use those few minutes as my wake back to bed. But
right.
I mean, even if you're totally against that, just plan on sleeping in one day, and you're gonna wake up several times.
Yeah.
In the
that's the best.
Not everybody has that luxury, though. But.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, especially if you have kids.
Oh God. Yeah. I'm pretty lucky. My son, he likes to sleep 12 hours.
Oh, boy.
So it gets nice.
I'm lucky enough to have a stay-at-home mom, and she loves her stay-at-home mom activities and duties. You know, she lets me sleep in on the weekends, although I don't necessarily sleep in that long, but still, if I want to, I have that luxury. I wanted to talk about. I was reading one of Stephen LaBerge's books. He has two that I know of that are out, and they're pretty common. But read them both, and they're pretty similar. But one of the things that he brought up that really perked my interest was the fact that how dreams and reality they can share a lot of common characteristics. I mean, we dream a lot of what happens during the day of the week, as I'm sure you know, or past experience, you know, that we had. And I think it's really important when you're reading your dream journals or listening to your recordings to realize how much in your dreams is just like reality. And what I mean that is, I've always had the aspect of thinking that there was a perfect definitive line that said, well, that's obviously a dream, or that's obviously a reality. But you have to understand, when you're dreaming, your mind's so programmed to do the same thing that it's routinely doing during the day, and it's going through it again, like most of us know, that when you're reading the dream journals and you're listening to your recordings, you go, oh wow, you know, that does sound exactly like something that could be plausible during the day. Yeah, you might, oh, I was standing on top of a skyscraper looking down. Well, no, you don't do that every day. But it could be plausible. It's something that you could do, you know. And it takes a lot of reading into my dream journal to realize, well, there's a few key features in this dream where I could have had been lucid. So I had two chances for my subconscious or my conscious to pick that up and say, hey, wait a second. You know, this can't be, this does not relate to reality in any way. This can't be possible, you know. And I have two examples of that. One is a weak example. I was in a class, and I was listening to the teacher, and he looked sort of like Einstein, and he was rambling on about something. I wasn't paying attention, just like I would in high school. But
Right.
on the chalkboard, it read E equals MC squared and a half. Now, what that meant, I didn't understand. But somebody could write on the chalkboard E equals or E equals MC squared and a half. So it's still plausible, even though it's not right. That's still a characteristic that could be implemented in reality. But I looked outside, and there was a building that couldn't possibly stand with the foundation that it was on. It had so many crooked, too many corners and cuts and turns, it wasn't able to actually stand. I didn't become lucid, but that's something that I want people to recognize when they wake up. This was the dream, this was great, and this is what was this was what was reality like, and this is what was dream like. This is what I missed. And I've heard Canis Lucid talk about this in his podcast on Dream Views, and I read it in LaBerge's book, Lucid Dreaming, and it really made this connection, and I really think this is going to help me, and I think it can help a lot of other people. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, it sounds like a good way to just be more aware and have more dream-induced lucid dreams.
Do you have a lot of dreams that are like reality, though, or am I just kind of babbling on about my own personal experiences?
Yeah, a lot of times they're just boring, mundane things.
Right.
Just like every other day in my waking life, or most days.
Right.
It seems like for me those really vivid, like really bizarre, just crazy out there dreams is where I become lucid.
Right.
And then like other times I'll have like, I'll have the crazy bizarre dreams, but it's more like I'm watching a movie. So it's not like,
Oh, that makes more sense.
yeah, it's kind of what it feels like to me.
See, you've told me about your dreams before too, and you've had these dreams like you're in outer space, or you're seeing more than one moon. I mean, you're seeing weird characteristics and features in people. I mean, some really off the wall stuff. But
Yeah,
and you become lucid more often than most. I would have to say a hell of a lot often more than I do. But I mean, I've been reading through my dream journals, reading through this, reading through that, and it seems like most everything is just as plausible as reality. And I have maybe 3 chances, like maybe once every dream, I have one chance to realize and become lucid. And as much as I like astronomy, I never have dreams like yours. I don't ever see more than one moon or ever get to outer space. Like that one lucid dream I was telling you, I was like, well, Mike made it in outer space. I'm going to try and shoot up to the sky. And I couldn't make it. I woke up. Damn it.
yeah. Well, I have only done that twice, I think.
Made it to outer
I
space?
have a hard time flying. Yeah, I don't fly well.
2 times more than I have.
I don't know what it is. But yeah, I think, I think it depends on like what you watch during the day or listen to, and it just gets you daydreaming about different things. And I really think, all that kind of contributes to how your dreams play out. I mean, a lot of it's just awareness.
And it's hard to keep on that, isn't it? I mean,
yeah, especially when you're at work and you don't want to be there and you just want the day to fly by till it's time to go home. It's really hard to be self-aware. You just want to shut everything down and go into autopilot.
Right. Oh, I hear you on that, dude. Oh, that'll just, I hate that though. Autopilot sucks. You can't, you're absolutely right though. I mean, it makes a lot of sense. When you go into autopilot, there is no awareness. Your surroundings are gone.
No,
all your senses are deadened. I mean, you have nothing going for you there when you go into autopilot, man. And when I become the most aware, I think, is when I'm driving. Because you're supposed to be aware of your surroundings as it is.
Yeah.
But, I've noticed sometimes, like throughout the day, I don't necessarily focus, like you said, when you're in autopilot, just looking at my senses, I've noticed that I don't even focus on things. Sometimes my vision is so relaxed and on autopilot, I'm lazy with my visual aspect. I'm not actually focusing on anything. And that's where the driving thing comes into view. I'll sit up straight and I'll actually focus and I make sure things are in focus, and I start, I don't know. It's hard to explain, but autopilot, man, that's hard to keep your awareness going, that's for sure.
Yeah, I actually find I go into autopilot when I'm driving. But I guess it depends on how long the trip is. But I've literally been I think I'm better now, but I've literally been driving from one end of the town to the other and then lost deep in thought, and then I kind of become self-aware again. I'm like, I don't even remember how I got to this point.
Oh, man.
I knew I was going the right way, but...
Right. Well,
I think those moments I'm like, I need to work on this self-awareness thing just a little bit more.
Jeez, dude, you're already a hell of a good lucid dreamer, man. If you could just pull yourself out of that autopilot, I mean, your days would go by a lot slower. But
Yeah.
you'd be getting lucid every day.
Yeah, well, I'm trying. There's always room for improvement.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I get real jealous of these people that, oh yeah, I'm lucid all the time, every time I dream.
Oh.
They're either lying or they need their ass kicked. I don't know which one.
Oh, shit. Like, right. Piss off, okay? We know.
Yeah.
You're sweet.
Oh. Yeah, I listened to the Dream Views podcast today, and there's a guy on there that he was having so many lucid dreams that he was actually working to get his non-lucid dreams back.
Oh, shut
I'm just
up,
like,
dude.
I'm
Seriously?
just like, he's either lying or he needs his ass
he's
kicked.
lying. Come on. Come on, for real?
I
I'm
don't know,
working on getting my non-lucid dreams. That's a crock of shit. Tell me one reason why you want a non-lucid dream.
Actually, you know, I've had some really good non-lucid dreams that I don't feel like they would have been that cool if I had been lucid.
Right,
But
right.
I still take the lucid over the non-lucid. But he's the dream yoga guy, though. He's like heavy into that, so maybe he's not lying. But he does need his ass kicked.
Sagius?
No, I'm kidding. Actually, it was Savason? I think that's what his name is.
We're coming for you. Whatever.
Yeah, we're gonna kick your ass.
Yeah. Woo!
In a lucid dream.
That's awesome.
No, if somebody can do that, that's great. But I'm just jealous.
Yeah. Oh, envy. I mean, I swear, dude. What if that would just add on so much to your life, and you could, God, just the possibilities with all those lucid dreams you could have. Speaking with your subconscious, asking for wisdom, finding enlightenment, working on the person you wanted to be in reality and in your dreams. There's so much benefit from it. I just don't understand why it's not easier to do it. And I'm not trying to create a schema to say it's hard, because to everybody it's different. But, man, Mike, I've been working on this thing for 3 years. And people that have joined Dreamviews at the same time as me are getting lucid, like, at least 3 times a week. And I'm lucky to get lucid, 3 times a month. And, I mean, and then you ask yourself, well, what is it? Is it something I'm doing wrong? Am I not trying hard enough? And then I feel like an old person sometimes because I'm drinking tea every night, going to bed at 10 every night, making sure I get my 8 hours of sleep, doing reality checks constantly, surrounding, it's like, man, and you're dreaming.
You just gotta find what works, and sometimes you gotta change, your techniques and your tactics, and I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I just gotta trick my subconscious and play this little game. Who can outwit each other?
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
I don't know. It's hard to say. I admit I think it's cheating in a way, but I use lucid dream supplements a lot. And that, it's not a magic pill, but it makes it easier. It really does. And that's how I get, my count.
Right.
But, before I started that, I was happy once a week. And that didn't always happen. But.
Yeah, I guess we should give people a warning. Once you start lucid dreaming, if you're anything like us, you get addicted to it. And you start coming down. It's almost like you get such a high on lucid dreaming that if you don't have one in a while, you need to get your fix. It's very addictive. So if you're as impressionable as us with lucid dreaming, that's your warning. Your one and only warning from us. It is addicting.
Yeah, I used to joke with Canis Lucid online. If I hadn't had a dream in a while, I'd be like, dude, I'm jonesing. I think my eye's twitching. I need to get my fix real soon. But I'm getting better with that. I mean, I still want it just as much, but if I don't, it's okay. It'll happen again. Sometimes you get a dry spell and you feel like your brain's broken and you're never going to have another lucid, but you just got to tell yourself it'll happen.
Right, absolutely.
You just got to be patient.
I like what you said to me, my last lucid I had, because it wasn't anything that happened so serious where it was something that, you really should be that proud of when you're as far as you are in your progress in lucidity. But for me, I was just so happy I learned how to anchor myself in, and I carried on with what I wanted to do in the lucid dream, and I stayed lucid for so long, But like you said, now you know that you're so capable of having these lucid dreams, and that you can anchor yourself in. And from then, I've had a few more where I've anchored myself in and had a good time. You're right. That was my turning point. I learned to anchor myself in the dream.
Yeah, and that's like, that's like the other half of the battle is keeping the dream going. I usually have like this phobia where I'm like, okay, I'm lucid, I'm in a dream, everything is pretty cool, I gotta do this goal and this goal, I gotta go over here, I don't have much time, I gotta hurry, and I get like this phobia that I'm just gonna wake up, and then, of course you think about waking up, you're gonna wake up, but I always have like this sense of like, I gotta hurry, I gotta go.
Right.
It almost sucks to lucid dream because you might do like a week of like prep work and like your daytime awareness, and then you'll have like a 3-second lucid dream.
It's
like
so worth
the
it,
amount of effort I put into this damn dream, it was only 3 seconds. What the But at the beginning of that 3 seconds is like so amazing. You're like,
right.
Well, I'll just do better next time.
Right. It makes you wonder, like, man, if I hit this crack pipe just one time, it'd be so worth it.
I know, that's the addiction of lucid dreaming.
Oh. Only your teeth won't fall out. That's the only
and it's
difference
healthy. I really think it's healthy for you.
It is healthy, for sure. Man.
And that kind of reminds me, I wanted to, like, kind of say something about, lucid dreams affecting your reality. Is like just having that practice of self-awareness during the day. I've noticed it helps me a lot, like especially like when you have children and they're driving you freaking crazy. It's so easy just to lose your temper and be like, yeah, I'm gonna get you. But having that self-awareness, I'm like, I do have a bad temper, but I've been able to control that a little bit better.
Yeah.
And just when you have that mindfulness, you don't like freak out. You're like, okay, what's the rational response? How can I calmly handle this situation?
Absolutely.
And I don't do that every time. I still lose my temper quite a bit, but
that's exactly what I was going to say too.
It's pretty cool.
I've noticed the same thing with me. Only the times that I don't catch it in time, I notice it after I do it, and so that's still bettering yourself, though. So
yeah, and then sometimes you catch it while you're doing it, but you just don't give a shit.
Right.
Maybe that's me.
Right.
Like it's already started. It ain't stopping.
Right. Like, I'm going to finish my sentence, damn it. I'm going to continue to rant.
Yeah, exactly. Which that's healthy too, if done the right way, I guess.
Well,
not to your kids, but you know what I mean. I think.
Yeah, shit.
They deserve it. Screw them.
Speaking of healthy dreaming or working towards lucid dreaming and it being a healthy progress awareness and helping to fix or control emotional situations like anger. What do you think nightmares have to do when it comes to stress or anguish on the body when you have a nightmare? I mean, when you wake up from a nightmare, you're still left with that feeling, that panic. I mean, I'm 26 years old, Mike, and I've still had to wake my old lady up a few times and say, hey, look, I need to get back to reality here for a second. I just had a crazy nightmare, and, things happen where I just wish I didn't experience that, and of course, becoming lucid in your nightmare, you could change a lot of things, or hope to change a lot of things, but you've had some lucid nightmares, haven't you?
I'm not, as far as the stress thing, maybe that's the cause of nightmares, maybe that's your way of dealing with whatever your subconscious wants you to deal with. I don't know. Before I talk about the lucid nightmares, I do notice, like, a lot of people get lucid in a nightmare, especially after they've started lucid dreaming. You know, they're, like, I know from my experience, I get in, like, this, it's not exactly a nightmare, it's just a really shitty situation, and I'm, like, looking for any way out of it possible, you know?
Right.
And then I think, well, maybe it's a dream, because it sucks so freaking bad, you know?
Right.
And then I might do a reality check, and I'll plug my nose, and I'll still be able to breathe, and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. And then I'll just go a whole nother direction with the dream. But yeah, sometimes, I have, like, a lot of these, and I'm going to get off topic a little bit, but I have two types of dreams. One just feels like a dream, and the other ones kind of feel like the out-of-body experience.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like more often during the out-of-body experience type of, you know, I still feel like they're dreams, but they feel different. But during that experience is when, like, crazy freaking crap will happen. And, you know, because it feels like an out-of-body experience, I like, get out of bed in the dream, but it's my house, you know. So that's kind of what I expect, you know.
Right.
But yeah, like, you know, I have the sleep paralysis a lot. And, like, at first, and this is what gets a lot of people that don't understand it, is I have these, like, demonic entities, they'll hold me down, or just get in my face and do all kinds of crazy shit. Yeah, and I dealt with this, like, this type of demon, I guess you could call it that.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of looked like a bunch of, it looked like it was composed of a bunch of triangles that were kind of rainbow colored. And like one time it likes to pose as my wife, and one time I thought it was my wife. You know, I was totally in a lucid dream, and my wife climbs on top of me, you know, in a sexual manner, and I'm like, oh well, this might be a good dream. And then all of a sudden it turns into this freaking demon thing, and it's just like screaming in my face.
What?
Yeah,
Lucid?
that's happened a few times.
Were you lucid in this dream or non-lucid?
Yeah, lucid.
Oh man, what'd you do about that then?
Well, that's the thing. It kind of brings up the fight or flight instincts.
Right.
And usually it really scares me, you know, because it's so realistic. But I just become the bigger monster nowadays. You know, I'll buff up and I'll scream at it and cuss it out, and I'll just basically talk down to it, and it'll shrink away and just kind of go off on its own course, and then I totally forget about it and I go have my fun.
That's my stuff, dude.
Yeah, but
now you've tried the whole Robert Wagner gateways to the inner self, I think it's called. Sorry if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Lucid follower.
No, you're right.
But where he channels love towards his nightmarish creatures, or whatever you may call them, demonic figures. You've tried that too, haven't you? I mean, the one where you were in your bed and you got down on your knees and you tried to channel love into the creepy. Was it a little girl or a little boy?
It was like a little doll that came to life.
How did that work, though? Did that work out for you?
No, and that's something I don't always remember to do this. I actually had something else in mind. I was gonna try to, like, just do that to any dream character anyway, and just kind of, like, merge with it emotionally. But it turned out that I had my usual out-of-body experience type of thing, and I go into my living room, and, like, there's this recliner that I don't have in real life, and there's this freaking, like, crazy-looking doll sitting there, and its head's following me, so I know it's looking at me. And so right away, I'm like, you know, I'm scared. But I don't run away. I just stand my ground because I know it's a dream. It can't hurt me.
Right.
So at first I start to, I'm gonna yell at it or whatever, and I'm like, no, I'm gonna calm down. I'm just gonna stand here, let it come to me, and then when it comes to me, I'm just gonna project love into it and hug it. Well, unfortunately, as soon as it came to me and I felt it touch my stomach, and its little arms were wrapped around me, I jolted awake, and I literally had that sensation of something touching my stomach.
Oh, man.
On my physical body. So that jolted me awake and kind of made me feel weird, and I haven't tried it since. But
Man.
I still need to work on that.
That's so funny. It's funny because it happened to someone else.
Yeah.
I mean, I would be so creeped out, though. It'd be hard to channel love into something that you're afraid of, instead of just destroying it, okay, well, I'm lucid, I'm just going to destroy you now. But if you can remember
I verbally abuse them.
Right. Right. That's funny. Oh, shit. That's funny.
Yeah. And there's been a couple times it's a little disturbing, but I'll get really violent, and I don't know, I turn into the monster. And I think the last one something scared me. I bit it and started drinking its blood, and I woke up. But
you what? Time
there's
out.
something wrong with me.
You were drinking the blood of another dream character?
I turned into a vampire.
You did turn into a monster, dude. That's badass.
I know. I disturbed myself. I have problems.
Well, talking about violent dreams, dude, you know the history in mine. And I've texted you, I went this whole week without a violent dream because I'm always beating somebody up. Now, I like to take pride and say, I win in all my lucid fights, or not lucid and non-lucid fights. But man, I'm proud of myself if I go a whole week without a fight in my non-lucid dreams. Oh, I need to. I can't wait to get caught in a lucid nightmare, because I want to be able to try and channel that love so well. I want to overcome the fear with an overcompensating feeling of love towards that demonic entity or ugly dream character that's trying to hurt me or my family. I just can't wait to see what actually happens, because that's going to be where I feel like I overcame something. Well, hopefully I get that chance soon to try that.
Yeah, that's what I'm shooting for too. Instead of being crazy.
I wanted to share something with you. My girlfriend, right before we decided to start this podcast, was telling me my son fell asleep before I got back to the gym. I didn't get much time to talk to him today, but he's only 2 years and 9 months old right now. And ever since he was able to talk, I'm always talking about dreaming with him, because I want him to be one of those kids that look at another kid in puzzlement and say, what do you mean you don't know that you're dreaming? I want him to be so inept to know that he's dreaming that it's just natural for him to become lucid in his dreams, because I think it's such a powerful tool to have. Well, he has told me all the time, well, yeah, Dad, I knew I was dreaming, but you never know, because he's 2.5, so it's hard to tell whether he really does or not, or he wakes up and says, yeah, I knew that was a dream, But today, he told my fiancée, quote, yeah, Mommy, these bad guys were chasing me, trying to shoot me with guns. And I told them, go away, get out of my dream, bad guys. And they left me alone. And that was the end of his dream. And that makes me so proud, because he's woke up from some nightmares before. And he's freaking out, and he's like, Dad, the robots, they're trying to get me. They were trying to get me. And I said, next time you have a dream about robots, David, all you have to do is tell them, go away. I don't want you in my dream. Go away. Or I said, if that doesn't work, then beat him up. I said, it's your dream. You can do whatever you want, buddy. But just ask him nicely. Please go away. And it seems to be working. He was getting chased with guns, and he said, go away. I don't want you in my dream. And they left him alone. He was clearly lucid in the dream. You know, he knew he was dreaming. He told him to get out of the dreams, and they left him alone. And he's 2 years, 9 months old. I'm so proud of him.
That's really cool.
I'm hoping, because when I was growing up, I would have what could easily be considered night terrors. I mean, to the point where, I wouldn't go to sleep the next night or that night because I was so afraid of my night terrors. And I won't go into depth of what it was, but as a child, I was just plagued by some of these night terrors. And my grandmother, who raised me, was so concerned about it. And I would hate for any kid, especially my son, to ever go through something like this. So I'm happy, and I'm hoping that he'll be able to cope with his night terrors by using lucidity. And obviously, if it's not something he controls, he can wake himself up from it. So I'm hoping I'm making progress with him to help control not having these nightmares.
Yeah. Yeah, I tried that with my daughters. One's 11, one's 7. I don't know, man. I feel like they lie to me.
I know that Chrissy's younger brother, he definitely lies. I can tell when somebody's lying because they'll look in the air like they're searching for something to say. And when I talk to him about this, you can tell that he's just pulling crap out of the air to lie. So,
yeah, I've kind of backed off that a little bit. You know, I still talk about lucid dreams, but I don't really try to get them to actually practice it anymore. Yeah. I just figured if they're interested, they'll
come to you.
It. But yeah, sometimes they're telling this dream, and then they go, and then I was lucid, and it's like I know they're lying from that point on. I'm just like, but then you don't know. You're like, well, maybe they're not lying, but yeah, it's hard to say with them. I don't know.
You want to believe that they're not.
Kids.
Just because it's so nice.
You know how they are.
To know that your kids are lucid dreaming. But on the same hand, you're always going to have that in the back of your head going, well, did they really understand what it is? You know? Did they really realize that they were dreaming? You know? I even have some guys at work that do the same thing. They say, a buddy of mine is a little older than I am, and I was talking about lucid dreaming. He came over, he goes, oh yeah, by the way, I was having this dream, and he'd tell me about the whole dream, and then he'd say, yeah, so I was lucid, man. So yeah, a guy at work will sit there and basically be telling me about his dream that he had. And then when he's done, he tells me, so yeah, I mean, I knew I was lucid dreaming because I just put my arms out and I slowed down time. And it's like, well, hang on. Because you went through the whole dream and you told me about exactly what was going on in each key point, but never once did you tell me, and that's when I realized I was dreaming. You know, at the end of this conversation, he said, so I was lucid dreaming. You know, it was like, I don't think you understand completely.
Right.
Where was the overwhelming feeling that made you realize that the whole world is in your hand? Or not necessarily the world, because you're in a different realm, you know? So, it's hard for people to understand that haven't experienced it yet, you know? Because you know, the first timers, when they have a lucid dream, they go, oh my gosh, I got to tell you about what happened last night. You know, they have this overwhelming excitement to share with you. Yeah.
Maybe it just don't affect everybody the same way.
Yeah, maybe that's true. I mean, everybody's different.
I don't know. It's weird. It's really weird. For me, it was like the most amazing thing I had experienced up until that point in my life. It's like, that really freaking happened, you know?
Right.
It was like this whole other reality that we experience every day, and we just take it for granted. But now, I can use it as my personal playground.
Right.
And it's real.
Oh, it's amazing, man. Hey, you know, what was the thing? The quote in LaBerge's book that I just read yesterday. He quoted somebody else in his book, so it's a quote of a quote. Dreams are as real as they last, but isn't that as much to say about life itself?
Right.
That's not the exact quote, but you get it.
I get it. That's
when
very.
life ends, there's nothing real about it because it's over.
That's
it's
that's very like Tibetan Buddhist dream yoga type of stuff too.
Yeah, I mean, when you're sleeping,
they have a
and
point,
you're dreaming,
yeah.
it's real. When you wake up, it's a memory. The day before, after you go to bed, yesterday is only a memory. It's not happening now. So
yeah. I like to look at it as, okay, think about what happened in your waking hours yesterday, and then think about your dream that you had last night. Those memories are just as real.
Absolutely.
Like, your dream that memory of that dream is just as real as your memory of your waking life. It's just a memory.
Absolutely, Mike. Love it. Love it.
I just wish the dreaming side had more consistency to it. More substantial.
Right, or was easier to achieve, easier to achieve than it is for us right now, Every day we're doing our best, trying new tactics to get there. What the hell? Our subconscious is beating us up,
And really, I don't know if it'll feel the same, but I really hope that enough people are interested in lucid dreaming, like tomorrow's generation, and they'll take like all this crazy new technology that's coming out and find a way to like make it where you just push a button and go to sleep and you're in your lucid dream. And we may not appreciate it as much. It'll be like turning on the PlayStation, but
right, absolutely.
I don't know. Will that ruin it?
I don't think it'll ruin it, Mike. It depends on what they're using it for. I mean,
sex.
To have an scapegoat for a personal playground is meaningful because now you had a bad day. You want to go play, you want to go have fun, you want to go bang, you want to go do some kind of crazy monstrous thing that you can't do in reality. You're lowering crime right there. You're lowering a lot of things. And then on the same hand, if you want to better yourself and enlighten yourself, you can do the same thing. You can choose it for your playground, you can choose it for your to get all that anguish, that what words am I looking for? Animosity, your fears. You can take it all out on something without ruining your reputation during the day. So it's nothing but positive that can come from lucid dreaming.
I've used it to do things that is not sociably acceptable in waking life.
Absolutely.
Or legal.
Haven't we all?
But yeah, I really think when somebody starts hitting lucidity, that's probably their main goal.
Some sex. Some good hot dickin'.
Or, that one time I did mushroom in a lucid dream. It probably wasn't realistic at all, but it was pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
Can't do it in real life. Might as well try and dream.
Well, we've been recording for quite some time now, Mike.
We're hitting about an hour.
Yeah, I want to finish on maybe sharing a few dreams that I had recently with you, and maybe vice versa.
Okay.
I have a short dream that I had the other day that I was waiting for this time to share. And I don't know if I texted you this already or not, but regardless, I seen Miley Cyrus in my dreams. No, it wasn't a nightmare. Believe it or not, it wasn't a nightmare. But I seen Miley Cyrus, and she had something to hide, Mike. Guess what was on her neck? Just guess.
A vagina.
It was balls. She had a scrotum.
That's close.
With a pair of balls inside of the scrotum. And
oh my
she
God.
was trying to hide it, and I couldn't stop staring. And it was disgusting.
There's a movie like that, I think.
I don't know how she still hides it. But
So what'd you do? Did you play with him?
oh well, yeah, but we won't go. Like I said, I'm not going to go too in depth. But the other dream that I had was, like I said, most of my dreams are violent. This guy at work, I don't know why. I need to set aside my anger towards him because he means well, but I just would love to just kick the shit out of this guy. He's just, anyway, I don't need to go in depth. I need to lose the negativity towards him. But anyway, in my dream, he said something stupid to me, so, like my dreams being violent, I was coming after him. I was ready to kick his ass. And as I was running towards him, he was throwing things at me, and I should have became lucid because I was having a hard time. I was trying to run, and there was rubber bands that felt like on my legs and my arms, and I was pushing so hard to get to him just to knock him the fudge out. And he was doing his absolute best to get away from me, and I was doing my absolute best to get to him. And I should have became lucid, because I became lucid many times when I didn't have the strong punch that I know I could have to really hurt somebody, or the go to get to that person, but I didn't become lucid, unfortunately.
Right, yeah, I know what you're talking about there.
Finally, I made it to him, though, and I knocked him out. And the only other one that I was going to share that was interesting to me, because I don't have very many dreams, only two that I can recall off the top of my head, that are cartoons, because I always dream about what reality is, and when I dream about cartoons, the only other one that I've had was reality mixed with cartoons, which was really interesting, and this one was just straight cartoons. There's a popular painting that is of the same picture but in different neon colors, in different contrasts. Well, Dexter's Laboratory, if any of you are familiar with, it's one of my favorite cartoons as a kid. I just seen a 4-splice of Dexter's dad, his dad, and they were all in different colors, all in different neon colors. It was 4 different ones, and the colors would keep changing and stuff like that, which is really interesting because I don't have dreams like this very often. And it was just, I woke up and I go, wow, that was really odd, because I don't have dreams about cartoons, and I don't have really odd dreams about that. It's normally about my reality, the waking life things that I do, yada yada. So it meant a little something to me because it was just different.
That's really cool. Yeah, that reminds me, like, the cartoon dream. I actually had a lucid dream that was all cartoon. It was one of those lower level lucids, I think. But yeah, I had watched the Cowboy Bebop movie, and that night I got lucid, and I had this little segment where I was, like in a gunfight with somebody, and it was all cartoony and weird. It was pretty cool.
No shit.
Yeah, that's only happened once, though.
You were lucid in a cartoon, huh?
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Wow.
I guess it was more kind of video gamey, but yeah, I didn't really like look around and be like, "Wow, I'm in a cartoon." I just kind of went with it. That's why I say it was it was kind of like a lower level lucid, but yeah, it was definitely lucid.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah, and a more recent dream that I've had. I had the, it happens to me so much, but I had like the OBE type of thing. Usually it's my wilds and my dream exit induced lucid dreams that are more like that. But yeah, this one was actually a dream induced lucid dream. My wife I think I was trying to wild and I fell too much asleep. And I started this dream where my wife is next to me and she's acting all crazy and retarded and, just doing anything she can do to interrupt me. And I'm like laying there trying to wild, but I'm in the dream. I don't realize it yet.
No shit.
And I'm so pissed off. I'm like, I called her a bitch and I said I was going to punch her in the face. And she just laughed at me and I'm just going... Okay, this never happens in waking life. This has got to be a dream. So I do an RC and of course, it's a dream. I'm like, oh, okay. But I'm
For those
still
that don't know, RC means reality check. You
right.
count the fingers on your hands. You try and breathe through your nose when you plug it.
Yeah, my favorite one is the nose plug.
Absolutely.
Usually what I do. But yeah, so I do my nose plug, and I'm like, okay, it's a dream. But I'm so pissed off at this dream character, and I don't really think of her as my wife, because I told about the a lot of times that demon thing likes to masquerade as my wife, and that's kind of like the mindset I had towards her. So I'm like, you know what? I am gonna punch her in the face. So I stand up out of bed and I take a swing, and my hand passes right through her face, like she's a ghost. So I'm even more pissed off and more like, this is not my wife.
Oh my god, dude!
So I take both hands and I do like a double karate chop to both shoulders. Same thing, passes through, hits the bed. I'm like, God. So I kind of have like this weird interruption, like false awakening, but I'm still lucid. So I get up again, and I was trying this little teleportation trick. It didn't work, so I was gonna go outside, and then I'm like, wait a minute, is she still there? So I turn, and she's like kind of on the bed, like with her face in her hands, like she's upset, and I'm like, you bitch, and I jump up in the air and I do a flying elbow to the back of her head, and I just land flat on the bed. Don't even touch her. I was so pissed off, but I really think my subconscious did me a favor there, because after I woke up later, I really don't want the memory of me beating the shit out of my wife.
So, oh my god, dude, that's hilarious.
That's one of those dream glitches that I'm glad happened.
Right.
But, yeah, so later I finally give up, and I'm outside doing my thing and flying around and talking to people, and like I hear her call my name, and this was like after I'd let the anger go, totally forgot about her, and she's being all sweet, and she's at the front porch. She goes, "Hey, how many steaks do you want? 1 or 2?" And the anger just immediately returns, and I flip her off, and I say, "How about 1, you bitch?" And then I just go on like nothing happened, and she's like laughing. So I'm like, it was like totally this weird entity that was enjoying pissing me off and getting me to be a jackass. It was the weirdest thing.
Oh my god.
But I felt so bad after I woke up. I told her about the dream, and
did you? I was just gonna ask you that. That's fucking hilarious.
She punched me in the leg pretty hard, but
oh my god,
she wasn't really mad. She was just messing with me.
Oh, that is hilarious, dude.
Yeah, I tell you,
I think that's why they tell couples, don't go to bed angry, because your husband just might beat the shit out of you in a lucid dream.
I did kind of get mad at her that night about something stupid, and then I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry, whatever. But yeah, I didn't go to bed mad, but I think maybe that carried over a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I dream about my day usually, so.
Right. Well,
but
cool,
that
man.
was ridiculous.
That's one of my favorites. So then I tried to karate chop her. Double karate chop her. Like, what? Yeah. Who does that? Like, 2 to the jugular. Like, take that, woman.
I don't know. I would never even fight like that in real life.
Oh, that's funny. Well, Mike, what do you think, brother?
I think it's time to end this thing.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it was good having you. I hope you enjoyed listening to us. Mike, why don't you give them their go-to for our email in case they want to tell us how much they hate us or how much they love us.
Okay. It is lucidforlife@mail.com. That's lucid, the number 4, life@mail.com.
If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, just send us an email and we'll get back to you as quick as we possibly can. If you have something you want to contribute to our podcast, we'd be greatly appreciative of it. And we hope to hear from you soon.
Have sweet dreams and epic LDs.
Lucid for life, baby.